Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a sun-soaked Páirc in Cork, where this evening an historic occasion as the home of Munster GAA host a club soccer match for the very first time, and fitting that it should be Celtic for the occasion, a club so closely linked to this land and its people. This evening, the champions of Scotland ramp up their preparations for the new season, their second pre-season outing, with a visit to the Emerald Isle to take on Cork City. And I'm delighted to say that former Republic of Ireland international defender Kenny Cunningham is alongside me. Kenny, I mean, you could be excused for thinking that we're on a pre-season tour somewhere rather hot and exotic. It's a perfect occasion, isn't it, for a pre-season game of football?
Oh, really is. Not too sure the players will agree with that, Rory, because of how hot it is pitch side. But yeah, walking out from the city no more than half an hour ago, wonderful atmosphere in Cork City, fans streaming down to the games, drinking outside on the streets, really lovely atmosphere around the stadium, everybody clearly looking forward to this game. Not often Cork City football fans get the opportunity to see the Celtic team as up close as they will today, so yeah, real excitement around the city.
It's always an exciting occasion when Celtic come to Ireland and the people really turn out in the numbers. We're expecting, I think, 30,000 through the gate here. It's the opportunity to come to this magnificent stadium, a 30,000, or it goes up higher than that into the 40s, but 30,000 here this evening to come out and see Celtic, home of Cork GAA. Of course, a club who are on a high after the weekend as well.
I hope you're not having a dig there, Rory. I hope you're not having a dig at me being a Dublin man and have me tail between my legs at the moment after that bit of a beating which we got off Cork in the hurling last weekend. But you're right, in terms of this stadium, more synonymous with the Gaelic and hurling, of course. And yeah, the Cork sporting public are going to get a healthy dose of something a little bit different this afternoon. But they'll enjoy it, as will the players. It's an important game for Celtic in terms of their pre-season. And I think there's a small level of importance attached to this Cork City team as well. Rory, having a difficult time in the electricity at the moment. Some people might argue maybe they didn't need this game today. I'd actually look at it from an opposite point of view. I think they do. I think they'll be looking for this game to actually give their season a bit of a charge and take something positive out again, be competitive, and actually take it into an all-important game at the weekend against Waterford United Friday night.
What do you expect to see from the game? We'll hear from the managers very shortly, but we're expecting two different 11s over the two halves.
Yeah, well, I'm not expecting too many two-footed tackles in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. I can tell you that. I think Celtic will play the game at their own pace, as they have to do at this stage of their pre-season. Cork City are slightly different. I think they'll be looking for this as a competitive fixture today. Probably a higher tempo from them, but you're right, Rory, your suggestion in terms of we're going to see a lot of players circulating around the pitch today, a lot of rotation, and that's understandable, certainly from a Celtic point of view, and getting as many players and minutes under a belt today. But also from Cork City, got a lot of young players in that Cork City squad. I'm sure Ger National Manager will be wanting to get as many of them onto the pitch and experience this atmosphere today.
Well, let's hear from both managers, Brendan Rodgers and Ger Nash. Well, Brendan, what does it mean to you to bring a Celtic side to Ireland and here to Cork?
It's very special. It's obviously it's the roots of our club back in Ireland, and obviously the fan base and the support we receive from Ireland is incredible. So they make so many journeys across the water, either by boat or by plane. So to be able to take Ireland to here is really special, and obviously to play in this historic stadium.
Talk us through a little bit about your team selection and what you're expecting from your side this evening. And Haota Inamura goes straight into your lineup.
Yeah, I think he's midway, or he's midway through season, so he's okay to continue playing. So it's a nice chance for me to see him and where he's at. I think at this stage of the pre-season, we're only a week or so, just over a weekend. So a game will have two 45-minute teams tonight. We did that on Friday. We'll do the same this evening. And the number one objective of this period is of course, developing and improving your football fitness. So guys have started the pre-season really well, but a lot of hard work to do, and nice evening to come here and just continue with that.
is it a step-by-step process before some of those internationals get filtered back in?
Yeah, well, it's just too much of a risk. They've only come back Friday, trained a couple of days, day off, and then they've had 2 hard sessions. So you normally would give it a week minimum to put them in. So for us, unfortunately, they won't be involved tonight, which is a shame because I'd love to have played some of them, but we'll look to them towards Saturday.
There's barely a name that hasn't been mentioned linked with Celtic in or out, really.
Yeah.
So I won't ask you about specifics, but is there anything concrete that's happened over the last 24 hours, either in or out with the club?
Yeah, nothing concrete. I think there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and as I said, the whole recruitment team and operational team are working very, very hard. So lots of irons in the fire, but like I say, we hope that we can make that happen over the coming weeks.
You talked about how special it is to be here in a GAA ground, which is something quite different for all of us, I think. Did you have any background as a hurler or a Gaelic footballer?
Yeah, I played Gaelic and hurling. I wasn't so good at hurling. It was a bit. I said I never really played it so much at school. My brother was an outstanding hurling player, so for Antrim. But no, I enjoyed obviously both the Gaelic and the hurling sports, and obviously have a keen interest in them. And Cork getting to the final, which is amazing for them. And down this part of the world, they've always been really strong on those GAA games. So yeah, but no, it's amazing to be here. And like I said, you see how popular it is. You look in at the finals at Croke Park, and you see the turnout for those games. It's absolutely immense. So, but no, my love has always been football, but I have played Gaelic and hurling.
It's been a great atmosphere in the town as well. I don't know, coming across it almost felt like going to a Champions League game, the number of hoop shirts that were on the flight. Well,
that's right, yeah. They're really, really excited about us being here. And that's what Celtic brings. That's what this club is all about. I think worldwide, we've seen it last year. We're in America and the different cities that we went to. We were so well supported. And that is Celtic. It's an iconic club. It's a club that's global. And but not more so than here in Ireland, and it's really special to come here, and it'll be a great night for everyone.
Brendan, thanks for your time. Good
Pleasure.
luck.
Thank you. Right.
Ger, it's a fantastic evening, a great occasion. What does it mean to you as Cork City manager to host Celtic on a night like this?
It's a huge honour. Obviously a club of great stature, really successful manager, successful team. Obviously done really well in recent years, and the tradition of the club is huge. So yeah, to play against them here tonight in front of the city and the people of the city is fantastic. So a wonderful occasion, and great for my players, especially the young players in the group. So yeah, we're really looking forward to hopefully a really good evening.
Talk us through a bit of your team selection and what people can expect to see from your team.
Well, look, we'll have pretty much 2 teams, sort of 45 minutes. We have an important league game on Friday, which is huge for us. But look, I've got sort of 4 new signings who've just arrived at the club in the window. Some really good young players that we think highly of for the future in terms of some academy players. So basically everyone who's fit, everyone will be in the squad. You'll see them all on the pitch tonight, and obviously it'll be some of them playing for the first time together, which is difficult. But look, we're really hoping we represent the club in the right way and show what we're about.
Because you've not been in the job particularly long, is this window an opportunity to put your stamp on the team?
Yeah, it's huge. It's really important. Obviously, we have a huge task in the league, which is really important for us. But we've been building behind the scenes, and as I said, we've brought 4 players in. We're not finished yet, so that and some of the young players that we'll see tonight will give you an opportunity to see some of our new players, and that's really important. So it's going to be key.
Given your domestic battles, and you've got some pretty big games coming up in the next few weeks, does this act as almost a welcome distraction from that domestic scene?
Yeah, I understand the question. All of our training this week, we're fully preparing on the game on Friday. But I think tonight's just a wonderful occasion. I think for the fans, for the young children in the city to come and see the teams play tonight. For us, for the staff, for the players, especially the young players, I think it's a magnificent occasion. And look, there's obviously going to be a huge amount of fans here tonight, 25,000-30,000 fans. It's an incredible opportunity for the young players, especially, like I said. So look, it's great. It's a great evening for us, and I'm hoping we get a lot from it.
Well, thanks for your time. Good luck.
No problem. Thank you.
So 2 teams at very different stages of their seasons or preparations for the new season. Cork City 23 games into their domestic campaign, sitting bottom of the league and a few really important weeks to come for them, while Celtic just into match day 2 of their pre-season, having faced Queen's Park last Friday night, a 1-0 win thanks to a goal from Johnny Kenny. But already tonight there is silverware on the line with the Cork Super Cup that they will be playing for on this occasion. The teams will be out very shortly here on Lee side. Páirc Chaoimh. Celtic back here for the first meeting in 16 years. And this actually only the 4th soccer game to be played at this stadium. There's been the Women's International, amongst also Liam Miller testimonial game back in 2018. There's some legends featuring in that game, and now the champions of Scotland and Cork City into the grounds. The double winners from Scotland still filtering in a few of their bigger names, but there's a few more on show this evening than there were last Friday at the City Ground at Lesser Hampden. Cork City also mixing things up a little and bringing in some of their new signings that Ger Nash has managed to start putting forward his squad, his stamp on the team for the closing stages of the league campaign as they look to escape the relegation battle. There will be a national anthem before kick-off and proceedings get underway. The city of Cork bathed in glorious sunshine all afternoon. Locals and those that have travelled turning out in their numbers. So a great reception for the two teams before the action gets underway. It may be a little too soon for a number of Celtic's international contingent, particularly the Ireland internationals Liam Scales and Cork-born Adam Ida. However, club captain Callum McGregor forms a strong midfield alongside Luke McCowan and club record signing Arne Engels. County Sligo native Johnny Kenny leads the line following his winning goal against Queen's Park, and there's a debut given to the latest Japanese recruit as Heito Inamura slots into the defence. There's been plenty of movement in the Cork City dressing room. Top scorer Gennaro Daniels departed for Kilmarnock just yesterday, but new signings David Odumosu and Rory Feely both start. Fiacre Kelleher has arrived from Colchester and spent 5 years in the Celtic Youth Academy. Charlie Lutz spearheads the attack, having signed from Aston Villa. The 20-year-old worked in the youth setup at Villa Park with Ger Nash. So using his contacts to put together this side and try and fill that that void left by Janeiro Daniels. Who, Kenny, do you think we should be looking out for in this Cork side?
Oh, there's only one player who jumps off that page, Rory, young Cathal O'Sullivan. He's been ripping it up this season, a hugely talented young player. Anybody you talk to around this football club can't speak highly enough of him. Still very young, of course, but a lot of clubs shown a lot of interest, particularly in England, at the young lad. It'll be a big surprise if he finishes the domestic season here in Ireland. Such is the interest in him, but a great opportunity for him to showcase his talents this afternoon against these very experienced and talented Celtic players.
Well, I think Celtic actually were also one of those quoted with an interest, but
I should hope so.
As I mentioned to Brendan earlier in his interview, there aren't many players on the continent that Celtic haven't been linked to this summer, such as the summer transfer window almost every year. And underway in a first touch for Callum McGregor. This is Ben Summers who will feature out on the left-hand side in that role that was so expertly filled by Dyson Maeda last season, Scotland's Player of the Year, Celtic's top scorer in that double winning season. There's Austin Trusty, with rumours of centre-back being a priority. He will have a fight to maintain his place alongside his fellow countryman Cameron Carter-Vickers at the heart of that Celtic defence. Where do you think, if Brendan Rodgers' side, they stepped up last season with their Champions League campaign, they got out of the league phase, where do you think things need to step up to another level to maybe become a threat in those knockout stages?
No, you're absolutely right. You don't want to stand still, Rory, and that's the challenge facing this Celtic team this season, and Brendan Rodgers in particular. You have to improve, you have to keep involving. Looks as if we spoke about it, just became on air in terms of Kun. Looks as if he'll be going out of the squad this season. Obviously he brought a lot of goals and assists to the team last season, so that has to be replaced and it has to be improved upon. There's good competition all over the pitch, and you have to respect the fact, Rory, I think what these Celtic players achieved last season, particularly in Europe in the Champions League. It was an absolutely phenomenal run they went on in the Champions League, almost came within touching distance, knocking out a club like Bayern Munich in the knockout stages. So they're in a really good place at the moment, but you're right, they have to keep improving.
McGregor out to Inamura. Summers, the youngster, unable to squeeze his cross in. For Cork City, we've seen Ger Nash go into the transfer window. There's David Odumosu, one of 4 new signings, all playing this evening. How vital are the coming months for this football club?
Oh yeah, it's a huge part of the season, almost a third of the season left in the electricity. It's been a tough slog for them, Rory. There's no getting away from that. They're bottom of the table, 5 points adrift of Sligo Rovers in second position, but they have to keep believing. There's good spirit amongst the squad. I think Ger's had a good reaction from the players. I've watched the last 2 games against St. Patrick's Athletic at home and Shelbourne away, and the players are certainly playing for each other, and they are together as a group, there's no doubt about that. But you've just had to add a little bit more quality. You've mentioned those names already who've come into the team, and they're going to have to make an impact between now and the end of the season. They have it all to do, but they still have a fighting chance.
I've seen a bit of a... They talked about a reset in recent weeks, just before that game on Friday night against Shelbourne. Fell to a 3-1 defeat. Lost a couple of goals in the first 6 minutes, didn't they? And then a red card.
I arrived 10 minutes late, missed the first 2 goals in that one, Rory. Got to be honest with you. And then, of course, the skipper Charlie Lyons got sent off second half, and the walls kept caving in on them. So they stood in the game, they stuck at it. Not an easy place to go, Shelbourne, at the moment. So just got to pick themselves up and keep going, keep strong in the mind, and keep believing that they can stay up.
Summers looking to link with Johnny Kenny.
That's his trademark run, Rory, isn't it? Johnny Kenny, not the type of striker who just wants to plant his feet and get into a physical contest with the centre half. He's always on the move. Good athlete, good pace, covers the ground well, always looking for those little darting runs in behind. We've seen a couple of them already. He hasn't got at the end of it, but that's kind of his trademark in terms of those runs. Clever runs in behind and in between defenders.
And it's probably something that Celtic fans will be intrigued to see, because people in Ireland have seen it a lot more, given his time last season on loan with Shamrock Rovers, and before that, and the damage that he did in the Europa Conference League last season. The suggestion is that he's sort of on the borderline between another loan and forming part of this squad, isn't it? It's so difficult to be that one that leads the line at Celtic. You know, Adam Ida's there. He's likely at the moment to be the starting 9. The likelihood is there will be another one, because they never replace Kyogo in January.
Yeah, it's true. They got options there. Maeda is kind of flitted in around there, but he's not an orthodox number 9. You're absolutely right. But Johnny Kenny is, and I'm sure his motivation, we're already going into this pre-season, will be to convince Brendan Rodgers that, look, forget about sending me out on loan. I'm going to make you better. You want to keep me here within this squad because I can make an impact. I can improve this team. So that has to be his motivation, not just this afternoon, but all during the pre-season. Give Brendan Rodgers a decision to make, not just a decision to make his mind up that you need to keep me in this squad for next season because I can make an impact.
Inamura to Engels, just miss out Summers. Inamura, I think, has initially been brought in as a left-sided centre-back, but he's going to operate at left-back just for now. Of course, that's a position that Greg Taylor, who's now departed for Páirc, has vacated. Kieran Tierney coming in, so he'll likely be the starting left-back for Celtic, but Inamura providing cover there this evening in his first appearance in hoops. There's been some success in that Japanese market over recent years. It all started with Ange Postecoglou.
Oh, certainly made some smart signings already. There's no doubt about that. And it is important for Celtic. They cannot, as successful as they were last season, earned a lot of money, particularly from that Champions League campaign, but still got to be reasonably frugal in terms of how they spend their money. So a big challenge there for Brendan Rodgers and the recruitment team. Inamura is an interesting one, you're absolutely right. Centre half, we're led to believe. Can he play in a left back, in a back four? We'll wait and see. He's got Liam Scales there obviously as well, who's very versatile, can operate in a number of positions. Carter Vickers obviously will come back into the equation as well. So, you know, reasonable healthy competition at the moment across that defensive line.
Colby Donovan into James Forrest, and Luke McCowan, and Callum McGregor. It's helped back out to Donovan, who looks to whip one in. Rory Feely sends that one clear and out for the corner. Feely has arrived from Crawley Town. Plenty of experience in the Irish Premier Division with St Pat's, Bows and Waterford.
Yeah, he's an experienced player, all right. We've seen him play for a number of those clubs. Experience is clearly going to be important between now and the end of the season.
Cowan to the front post. Dane Murray tries to protect it for Engels, who was hovering on the edge.
Celtic very strong in that midfield there that you mentioned already previously, Rory, before the game. Kind of trio of McGregor, Engels, and now he's young by age, but had a tremendous season last season. Delivered some really good numbers in terms of goals and assists. Luke McCowan as well. Forrest operating a little bit higher up the pitch, but plenty of experience there. McGregor's the one in particular, though, isn't he, in that little pivot in front of the kind of back three, back four, playing the game at his pace as he always does, kind of orchestrating things from that kind of deep line central midfield position. He's a really good technician.
Engels was an interesting one last season because obviously came in with the record transfer fee and played over 50 games, scored 10 goals, which is a very good return, but maybe not grabbing the headlines some hope. But I think it's the reminder that he's still only 20 years of age and there's plenty of growth to come in the midfielder. Here's McGregor trying to help that through, and again it's Feely who sends it clear. Nolan trying to gather it. And Dykesteel loses out. Feely should see that one out.
I think it's important these Cork players get a bit of possession of the football at some point. It's a hot day like we've spoken about already. Don't want to be chasing the ball for too long. You do win it back. Important they make 4, 5, 6 passes, keep the ball away from Celtic for a period of time. Just gain a little bit of a breather.
Odumosu has come in signing from Cliftonville. First appearance for him, it was Conor Brand that played on Friday night. Kelleher, who played in the game 12 years ago. Celtic brought a B team out to Cork for a friendly, and Fiacre Kelleher played for Celtic in that one. Am I right in thinking you played in the Man United Legends game against the Republic of Ireland? Celtic select for Liam Miller's testimonial here?
Oh, I did actually, yeah. I had the pleasure of being here that day. Actually stepped foot on the pitch for a period of time. Yeah, first time inside the stadium. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Sad occasion, a lot of respects, obviously. Benefit game for Liam Miller, God rest him, a former international teammate mine. But it was really well attended, the event, the whole day actually. It was nice to be part of it. But yeah, I loved the stadium. I'd have to admit that. Really enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit surprised we haven't seen a little bit more football here in the intervening period, Rory. Might be an option potentially going forward, because one thing that you know, when you take football to Cork, there's Cork football in public come out to support it in large numbers.
It's certainly something that they're hoping to do. That's brilliant from Summers. Opportunity and great save from Odumosu to keep out James Forrest, who certainly knows the way to the back of the net in Celtic colours. Not to be on this occasion, but the chance still on, and this time just fizzed over the top. Arnie Engels with the strike.
Some great combination play there at the edge of the box. Young Summers looked as if he'd nowhere to go. Back to goal. A little back flick into the path of Forrest. Took one big touch. It's a decent shot, to be honest with you. Odom also done great to get out as quickly as he did off his goal line and make the save. Just got something on it. Really good save. Really good alert goalkeeping.
James Forrest was one. I weren't too sure fitness-wise whether he was going to be ready for this, but clearly managing to make his step up in his preparations. As for Ben Summers, now 21 years of age, and he had a loan out in Austria last season with Admira Wacker. A chance to impress on another pre-season.
It's amazing the distance these young players now looking to go and get a bit of experience in Europe. You know, back in the day, maybe 1 or 2 at most. Nowadays, it's amazing, really. France, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria you've mentioned there. They're already Scandinavia as well. Great experience for these players going to these countries, really kind of developing and maturing as players.
It's just a foul by Rory Feely on Luke McCowan. It's Trusty out to Summers, and quickly again looking to link things up. One touch play. Forrest cutting in. Straight forward for Odumosu. Nevin held up, so goes back to Kelleher. couldn't quite find O'Sullivan. Kevin McLaughlin. Kelleher. Or Feely in a loose touch. Gives it straight to McCowan, picks out Kenny. His layoff seized upon, and Cork City survive. That's tidy from O'Sullivan. Read though by Trusty, using that strength and power. Now Forrest. They isolate Lions and try to hit the byline. Murray finds the winger again. McGregor. Inamura. Straight through, no danger.
No danger whatsoever. Just found a little bit of rhythm though, Celtic to their play. Forrest getting plenty of touch to the ball. McGregor kind of linking up. Summers on this left-hand side has been very prominent in the early stages of the game. You couldn't say young Cal O'Sullivan has been that prominent in a Cork jersey. Unfortunately, just haven't been able to get him the ball on sufficient occasions, but plenty of time for him still to impose himself in this game, operating off the right-hand side in the early stages of this game.
Summers finds the pass through the legs of Crowley. Donovan with the cutback, another Celtic corner. Pressure being maintained. And quickly taken by Forrest. Donovan and now McGregor. And now robbed was McCowan, and Dykesteel doesn't have too many options. He's got a lot of work to do here himself. He's managed to brilliantly find that through to Charlie Lutz. And the break comes to an end with the shot blocked off, and Sinisalo takes a bit of a risk, but that was impressive from Malik Dykesteel and Charlie Lutz.
Yeah, Dykesteel done really well there. Showed his pace, he's a really good athlete, covers the ground. Lent the ball to Charlie Lutz. Thought there was an opportunity maybe for Lutz to play that ball first time back to Dykesteel inside the box. Took an extra touch, maybe the opportunity went, but at least shown a little bit of promise there, Cork. First real opportunity to get in and around the Celtic penalty box.
It's another Forrest ball in, repelled by Feely. Kenny gets turned well, feeds Summers and out. Inamura and drag the shot, which frustrates the Japanese.
And his teammates. It was a really good play initially there from Johnny Kenny. Wonderful first touch, opened his body up, just popped the first time into the feet of Summers again. Young boy's head up, finds Inamura. Thought it was the wrong option again. Johnny Kenny had made another great run in behind. Could have easily just slid that little ball around the corner. Took responsibility to shoot again. Unfortunately, it was a poor connection. Dragged it well wide of the post.
It's a player that's played less than a full season of top-flight football in the J-League with Albirex Niigata.
I'm guessing he hadn't got a great goal-scoring record in the J-League, Rory. By virtue of what we've seen in the opening 50 minutes, that was a couple of half shots which he's had.
But 17 appearances and 1 goal. He was at Tokyo University before that, so it's a big step up. This side in the J-League, where they're currently sitting second bottom. There's Feely away for Lions. That's a good turn again, Dykesteel. And a tug from Donovan. And he'll be called across for a warning.
In normal circumstances, that's an automatic yellow card for Donovan. Great turn again from Dykesteel. He's had a good couple of minutes. The young lad, first touch around the corner. Donovan got himself wrong side, no option really just to pull the jersey of the young Corkman.
Nevin looking forward, but Trusty looking calm. Kelleher will test the American international again, under pressure from Lutz. He's proving to be a bit of a handful. Inamura has to come out and help out the defender.
Yeah, good pressure there from Lutz. Wasn't an easy ball. Helpful one, hopeful one around the corner, I should say, so we didn't give it up. Harried Trusty, almost forced a mistake. Good work rate.
Dane Murray finds Colby Donovan with a bit of space perhaps for Celtic to do some damage here. It's James Forrest with the pullback for McCowan. First one blocked, gets the second chance, and then fired into the ground by Arne Engels. There were a couple of blocks in there, I think, by Rory Feely.
Yeah, still thought McCowan should have done better. It's good link-up play again. Donovan and Forrest has been prominent down that right-hand side. It's a great little cut back from Forrest into the path of McCowan.
Dane Murray has left that one, and Dykestil just gets the ball caught under his foot. The Celtic defence scrambles to get that ball back and avert the danger, which they have done.
Oh, such a shame. We've been talking up young Dykestil the past couple of minutes. He's really starting to impose himself on the game. What an opportunity he had there. Just kind of panicked a little bit. Maybe realised the position that he was in. Took one touch too many. Eventually stood on the ball just when you thought he was going to pull the trigger. Such a shame. Cork's best opportunity by far.
Murray looks for the feet of Kenny. Trusty surveying options in front. Summers. Murray out for Forrest. McCowan. It's over the top of Trusty, and Amura has to scamper back. Kenny, and was just clipped by Alex Nolan. Forrest, drop of the shoulder. Helps it through for Engels. Summers with Kenny in the middle. And again, the flag goes up to halt the attack.
Yeah, Forrest is the one again, looking really bright, crisp with his pass and drifting in off that right-hand side into the pockets. Looking to play little kind of 1-2s. What I like about him, always looking to play a forward pass as well. Never really takes the easy option. He's been the one really driving Celtic the opening 15-20 minutes of this game.
Here goes Forrest again, cutting infield this time. Collides with Kenny, but Engels will help that out to Inamura. That's a great ball in from Inamura. Just arriving too late was Johnny Kenny. He was a whisker away from the touch to open the scoring.
Oh, that's far better for Inamura. Been a little bit critical of him, his final ball in the last maybe 5-10 minutes, but that was far better. Got the ball in an outside left position, one touch, control it, and kind of guided a lovely pass cross really into that near post area. Johnny Kenny, as you would expect, on the move, just arrived a split second too late. Great move from Kenny, but great delivery from Inamura into that near post area.
Nevin under pressure from Summers and just too much physical pressure. Pass read by Callum McGregor. Something he's done so well for so many years. Kelleher to launch that long in the chase for Lutz. Engels looks for the return to Summers. He asks too much of the youngster, though.
Yeah, sorry, Rory. He has started the game really well. Summers, good technical ability, used the ball really well. Probably not the quickest thing you're going to see there. He just popped the ball, looked to get into a foot race when Nevin down that right hand side. Probably didn't have the leg speed over 20-30 yards to beat the Cork fullback. So big onus on him from a technical point of view to get his head up and link things up, which he has done in the opening period of this game. He has been impressive down this left hand side for Celtic.
And that's when the midfielders are used to Dyson Maeda running on at 100 miles an hour to those passes.
It does help if you have both. I've got to be honest with you. If you can get a forward with a high level of technical ability, high speed, and can understands the game, then you really do have a player. Unfortunately, those kind of players are few and far between. But you're right, Maeda is clearly an upgrade. Outstanding player for Celtic in that area of the pitch. He's going to be a big player for them, clearly going forward this season.
It's an area out wide, which they certainly will need to reinforce with. It looks like Nicholas Kuhn away, Jota out until potentially the new year. Nasty injury he's picked up, so they need to go into the Champions League with, well, as they will hope, it's a huge playoff game towards the end of August for Celtic. So much riding on that for their season.
Huge jeopardy. You're absolutely right. I mean, even the thought of Celtic not making Champions League football this season, off the back of what they achieved, the run they had last year, how well they played, I mean, how it benefited the club, not just from a financial point of view, but just the profile of the club, how well they played during the course of the qualifying stages. Took their medicine on occasions, don't get me wrong, thinking back to that Dortmund game, second game into the group stage, but some wonderful victories as well. I actually thought the 0-0 away to Atlanta was a turning point in the Champions League for them in terms of how they Brendan set up the team that night, but I really grew in confidence after that, and probably one of the best performances I've ever seen under Brendan Rodgers at Bayern Munich in that second leg.
There's a strike and hammered in. Fine finish from the edge of the area to give Celtic an advantage, pinging that one into the top corner. Luke McCowan picking up where he left off last season.
Yeah, they've been threatening this Celtic, that inside kind of right channel. The likes of Donovan Forrest, Cowan kind of linking up. That was really sharp play, one-touch stuff to the edge of the box. Cowan had an opportunity a few minutes before, didn't take advantage of it, kind of dragged his shot. Not on that occasion. That's a wonderful strike into the top corner. Nothing David, the most who could do about that.
So Celtic settling in nicely at Páirc Queeve. There's Kenny with the reverse shot after the neat ball through from Summers, and Odumosu had to be smart and alert to tip that one over.
Yeah, they're the type of balls Johnny Kenny needs. Clever little reverse ball around the corners. Good pass initiative from McGregor into Summers. Got himself in that little kind of pocket of space. But he's smart, the young lad. His head's up. He's looking for the next pass. Little ball around the corner. Johnny Kenny taking it on first time. Plenty of confidence there. Forcing the save.
Donovan just tries to stab that one through.
The type of balls that Johnny Kenny needs. Slightly different type of player to Adam Eade in that position. Adam's a little bit more comfortable on a back to play. Leading into defenders, opposition defenders, making the ball stick. Enjoys the physical side of the game a little bit more. And Johnny Kenny wants to be on the move. Wants to make those runs down the side, in behind. Just needs people on the ball who can get their head up and find them. But I think he's got them in this Celtic team. Certainly has it in Callum McGregor and the likes of Forrest in those central midfield areas. And young Summers has done it already during the first half of this game.
Engels deflected. It will come to Summers. Managing just to hold off McLaughlin. Inamura. Tidy touch into Engels. Couldn't quite link it on the return to the Japanese left back. I think Luke McCowan's an interesting one. When he signed last season from Dundee, I'm not sure that many expected him to play a huge part. 41 games, he made a real impact, 7 goals. I was almost a little bit surprised towards the end of the season that he didn't make his way into the international setup as well. He had that strong a season for the club. It's Dijksteel. Opened up for the Dutchman. Former Feyenoord youngster, but he dragged his shot.
Now you're right in terms of Luke McCowan. I was impressed with him when I saw him play for Celtic. You're right, it's got a big step up. It's a big football club. People forget that. Not easy stepping in that environment. Senior international players around you to make an impact in that first season. Thought he did that. Probably more to come. He's going to improve. He'll only get better for his experiences last year. Good competition in that area of the pitch. Celtic, Engels, like we've spoken about before, the quality's there, maybe more to come there as well. Forrest, obviously, McGregor, no argument there in terms of the quality you're going to get from those players in that area of the pitch. Left footers as well, Rory. Can't have enough of them. We just saw why, the quality of that finish into the top corner. Managers love him. Can't get enough of them into the team.
Engels looks to spread the play. He's done it with pinpoint accuracy to Forrest. Now Donovan racing onto it, but Dijksteel, who's been impressive up the other end, doing his defensive duties too. Did take a clip to the ankle there though.
Yeah, just wonder if he maybe jarred his ankle. He put his foot to the ground there. I hope not. It's been one of the bright spots for Cork. Dijksteel in possession, now possession. That was a good example of it. Tracking the run from Donovan all the way down the pitch, 40-50 yard run. It's a wonderful first time pass from Craig Forrest, for me the best player in the pitch so far for Celtic. Just around the corner, first time into the path of Donovan.
So McCowan to swing in the corner. Kelleher, as often, the tallest in the box to flick it clear.
You want to keep the ball away from him. He's a big.
It's not easy.
He's a big boy. I don't quite know how. I haven't looked at transfer market in terms of how high he is, like how tall he is. I'm guessing about 6'4" plus. I've got to be honest with you. Might be doing him an injustice there. Big physical presence. No doubt
Shoulders
about
to
it.
go with it.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't quite built in that mould myself, Rory, when I played the game, quite the opposite.
Well, down goes Engels, and he was looking rather hopefully back towards the referee.
I thought you were going to say looking rather embarrassed as he hit the ground there, because that was minimal contact. Certainly no penalty kick. He's looking at the referee, yeah, trying to convince him it was a bit more contact than he thought, but no, there's no chance of getting that one. Not playing in Europe now, Rory. Don't get those easy penalty kicks in Corky Quiv. You have to earn them.
No VAR tonight. Kelleher straight to Engels though. Now McGregor for Forrest. Donovan outside him, but comes back to this near side for Engels. And in for McGregor, out by Kelleher, now Dykesteel will win the free kick. An opportunity to tell you about the action that we have coming up. The Premier Sports Cup kicks off this Saturday. We start our coverage at Tynecastle from 5 o'clock as Hearts host Neil Lennon's Dunfermline. There's also 3 p.m. kickoffs available on Premier Sports website that afternoon. Wednesday the 16th, we're live from Kilmarnock as they take on Livingston. Saturday the 19th sees us back with Hearts as they travel to League 2 side Stirling Albion. And just some of the over 75 matches that Premier Sports will cover this season for UK customers.
What's the odds in Dunbarton winning that one at the weekend? Neil Lennon, Rory, do you mind me asking?
Dunfermline?
High odds? Yeah.
You give them a chance. I mean, he managed to keep them up last season.
Are you impressed with the job he's done there? He's an ex-colleague of mine. I will be getting back to him on this, so be careful what you say.
Always impressed with the job Neil Lennon does, be it on the mic or in the dugout. He's a colleague of mine as well. So it's good to see him back in the dugout. Here's O'Sullivan. Yeah, of course, Hearts with a new manager and Derek McInnes as well, so it'll be a very interesting game at Tynecastle.
How many yellow or red cards Lenny's going to pick up this year? What do you reckon? There'll be at least half a dozen of each.
Dykesteel caught in possession, no free kick. McGregor looks for Summers.
Yeah, it's been tough for these Cork City players to get a foothold in the game. I think what you have to remember as well, it's far from their full strength 11 as well. They've really struggled since the start of the season. Lost Rory Keaton for the majority of the season, bad Achilles tendon injury. Shawnee McGuire as well, centre forward of real stature, was out for a big chunk of the season. Even this evening, kind of partnership with Bulger, Sean Murray in central midfield is missing. So big ask for these Cork City players first half of the game to get on the ball and maybe dominate. Probably a little bit too much to ask. Had that one chance through this man Dykesteel in the first half. It's probably been their best player. Looked really lively in possession of the ball. Commentator's course. He's looked to get on the ball. He's tried to be positive, at least get at his man. 1v1 situations. He's going to get plenty of game time between now and the end of the season in the Cork City jersey. They're going to need him. They're going to need some goals from him as well. They're going to pull themselves off the bottom of the table.
It's a great ball forward from McLaughlin to Nolan. Now O'Sullivan. Away by Donovan. Up to Kenny. Kelleher helps it forward. Lutz and Dykesteel. Looks to bend one. And over the top it goes, but they have had their moments in front of goal.
Yeah, you're right. Lutz isn't too happy there. He wanted that ball played back to him, little reverse ball around the corner potentially. It didn't arrive. Dykesteel clearly fancied his chances. Had a little bit of joy with that ball over the top first half. That kind of Celtic, back 3-4. They've been comfortable enough, but a couple of times the ball's been thrown over the top behind. Murray and Trusty, probably not the greatest recovery speed there. Dykesteel has had a little bit of joy in Lutz. Maybe something for Ger Nash to speak about at half time with his players.
Inamura. Engels making the run. Couldn't find Summers. O'Sullivan straight to Donovan as he looked for Dykesteel, who did have space to run into if the pass was right. Clipped through. And then off the chest and into the hands of Odumosu. Has it been, do you think, more at that end of the park where Ger Nash wants to get things tightened up? That's where he's brought in a couple of centre backs, a new goalkeeper. I think it was only 2 weeks ago they got the first clean sheet of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. As always is the case, the team bottom of the table, Jenny, you're looking at both ends of the pitch. You're looking at tightening up and keeping clean sheets, and you're looking for goals. Where me match one is the other end of the pitch. We've spoken about Rory Keaton, unfortunately a real kind of goal scorer at this level, out for the season. Talk maybe might get back for the last few games of the season. That'd be a bonus. Shawnee Maguire is a player, real experience over in England. He's one you'd certainly trust, but they need goals from other areas of the pitch as well. Young Colin O'Sullivan, big responsibility on his shoulders, maybe too much for someone his age to kind of contribute with the amount of goals that they need. But it's going to be a collective Rory, I think, from the whole group between now and the end of the season. Tim Clancy obviously walked away from the job. Jer Nash has come in, not easy, kind of mid-season with a team bottom of the table, maybe lacking in confidence to turn that around. David Moyler has come in, that would help his kind of stature as a player, his kind of pedigree as well. I'm sure that would have given the dressing room a lift as well. So yeah, the only way is up for this Cork City team. You just have to keep believing. But you're absolutely right, the fundamentals are they're going to have to concede less goals and score more than they have done for the majority of the season. That's the challenge facing these Cork City players.
Josh Fitzpatrick is being ready to come on. But for now, O'Sullivan should be okay to return, and does. He'll be pretty keen to impress on this stage. As we mentioned before, it's likely to be brand new 11s for the second 45. Those are the sorts of pre-arranged things between the managers beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it is important. You've got to be careful with the players this stage of the season. The players themselves will know that. The more experienced players understand it and will pace themselves, the likes of Forrest McGregor in that Celtic jersey in particular. Now, won't overextend themselves. I'm saying that now. I'm looking at Forrest making a 30-yard run. He's really enjoyed himself in this opening half of the game. Been really impressed with him. Just got to be sensible as a player, certainly from a Celtic perspective, in terms of just slowly building up that base level of fitness going into the season. Nobody wants to pick up a niggly injury, hamstring, calf strain, keeping you out for 2-3 weeks. It's an absolute killer at this stage of the season.
Summers, Inamura. Oh, it was a good pick out as well, and comes to McCowan on the edge. And Donovan then rifles it in, but Odomosu gets behind it well.
Yeah, good to see Inamura getting himself involved again down this left-hand side, getting himself high up the pitch inside that 18-yard box. Love to have seen him just flash that ball across his 6-yard box like he did early on, almost got Johnny Kenny in. Again, try that little cutback, seen a lot of that in the modern game. Always looking for that ball cut back towards the penalty spot. Not an easy finish that, plenty of defenders between you and the goal. If you do get a shot on target, far easier if you can actually just forward out and across the 6-yard box. It's an easier finish that for me, just to tap in for a centre forward. If the timing of the run's right, or certainly Namora, to be fair to him, he's looked to get forward and impose himself on the game. It's been a decent half for him.
It was almost a very good read by Ben Summers, trying to nip in, dispossess the Cork City defence.
Interesting what the Celtic supporters would make of Summers' performance so far this half. Wouldn't seen too much from play, obviously. He would have been on that loan to Austria last season, but I'm sure they have been impressed with his contribution so far in the first half.
It's Conor Donovan's ball in, but against too close to the goalkeeper. Long, asked O'Sullivan to chase, but he was never catching that.
Yeah, it's not a strength stat. Kid needs the ball into his feet, playing the half turn. First touch is really good, just needs the right type of service into him. Hasn't had that. None of the core players have really in the first half. Celtic have kind of bossed this game, taking the game away from Cork City. That was to be expected. So difficult for those forward attacking players, Colin Sullivan in particular, to kind of show his quality. He's kind of been starved of possession for the majority of the first half. He might be a little bit frustrated, but maybe with his contribution in the first half, but just haven't been able to get him on the ball, Cork, often enough in the right areas of the pitch.
Stiff breeze in the faces of the Celtic players attacking that west end of the stadium, the city end. Trusty. Bura. Dane Murray, who was out on loan last season. Forrest looks to play the 1-2 with Donovan.
Yeah, that hasn't happened too often. Craig Forrest in this first half, overhitting the pass. He's been spot on in terms of his execution, really sharp. Usually at this stage of the pre-season, a little bit off maybe or touch, but not him today. He's been right on it. Really instrumental in everything good that Celtic have done from a creative point of view in this first half. Probably him on that right hand side and Summers, I'd say, on the left. I'm kind of really impressed.
Trusty covering with Lutz and Nolan, forcing them to put it out of play. Celtic looking to protect their 1-goal lead with the break approaching. And that is the end of the 45 minutes, the opening 45 minutes at Páirc and I think we'll expect a very different second half with a number of changes being made in the next 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, as the players will head to the dressing room, get a welcome break from that 26-degree heat out there. Rather toasty in the Cork sunshine, but very pleasant indeed. And Luke McCowan's goal, the difference between the two sides as they head off at half-time. So at the break here at Páirc it is Celtic 1, Cork City 0. The Celtic numbers as well as the teams emerge for this second half. Mitchell Robertson, Stephen Welsh, and Ross Doohan has come out for this second half as well. I think we're looking at a full 11 change for Celtic. So Doohan, Osman, Montgomery, Frame, McPherson, Robertson, Ewer, McCardle, Hatton, Turley Welsh, Zaguzo were the subs named. We will require some closer identification. Hit Nelson on for Cork City after he scored the way to Shelbourne on Friday night.
Yeah, what a really good goal it was as well. Left foot strike, sweet as into the bottom corner. Really good finish from him. Probably the only bit of real quality from Cork on the evening. Kind of well beaten. Certainly a wonderful strike though.
Conor Brand coming on in goals as well after starting that last league game. It's well helped on. The flag will go up against Charlie Lutz, who's one of the few, I think just maybe he and Harry Nevin, that have come back on for this second half. Josh Fitzpatrick almost helping that into his path. Just drifts under the boot there of Kiernan. Mitchell Frame in the middle of the park for Celtic.
sure Brendan Rodgers, irrespective of the adjustments that he's made, he looked for Celtic to pick up where they left off in terms of the kind of tempo. The second half of the first half kind of generate a nice rhythm to their play, moving the ball quickly, briskly, 1-2 touch, really dominating. That's what you want this stage of the season. Plenty of touches on the ball, play the game at your pace, really. That's what Celtic did for the majority of the first half. You'll be looking for the same from this group of players despite the changes.
Challenge coming in from Robertson. Celtic get going down the left-hand side.
Yes, I'm talking about Greg Bulger, that central midfield area, using all his experience, winning a free kick. He's not going to get sucked out of that position. He's going to sit in there, give the defensive line a little bit of protection, hopefully get on the ball and get his team up the pitch as well. Charlie Lutt's been asked to continue in that central striking position. Muriel occupied a number 10 position just in behind.
Now Celtic with the opportunity, ball in, looking for Osmond, and cleared away. Good clearance it was too.
Yeah, a little bit too easy that for Celtic to get in down that left-hand side. Far too much space. Really good delivery into the box. Just have to tighten up a little bit. And Bang, experienced enough operating in that kind of right wing back position. He's got to drop in there, fill that space.
Well, Robertson and Osmond not quite on the same wavelength.
I would say the Cork City team is particularly weakened with the changes Gerard Nash has made. Conor Anderson has been a regular on the ball here at centre half most of the season, and Beng obviously likewise in the right back position. Kiernan left back. That's pretty strong there. Bulger coming into the centre of midfield. Nelson we spoke about already, scored that spectacular goal now last week, so they've maintained a bit of strength in the team for this kind of second period, Cork.
Osmond, and it's well saved by Brandt.
Oh, what a great chance. Thought he was going to just lift it over the goalkeeper as soon as he got put in. The ball just bounced up nicely for him. Just thought he was going to dink that. An extra couple of touches, and it was a poor finish at the end of it by Osmond. Looking forward to seeing him, obviously. New signing in the door. Spoke how excited he was coming to Celtic Football Club. How ambitious he was. Not easy to break into this Celtic team as a number 9. At his age, of course. Signed a 4-year contract, so he's one for the medium to long term. Had a great opportunity there, though, to introduce himself to the Celtic supporters. Didn't take it.
Well, Stephen Welsh wearing the captain's armband for Celtic in this second half. You wonder what his future will hold. Here is Osmond. Look to deliver this into the middle. It's just over the top. And Mbeng. Shift that back to his goalkeeper in Brandt.
Oh, that was far better from Osmond. driving down the right hand side. Thought he stood up a beautiful ball to the back post. Fortunately, Celtic just hadn't committed enough players into the penalty box, particularly in the far post area where the ball arrived.
Helped through and kept in play, but unable to find the angle. It was Adam Montgomery breaking down that left-hand side.
Not exactly sure who the pass was being played to. I think I had one or two targets there. Thought there might have been an offside flag, didn't arrive. Do like to see the ball being played in the forward direction now. Players looking to break the lines with their passing. That's what we saw there. Too many players take the easy option with that sideways and backwards pass. Not on that occasion. Celtic almost got the reward.
Osman, the rival from Fulham, trying to help that through again. Played in the Premier League 2 last season, scoring 10 goals against once against each of the Manchester clubs, City and United. He's one of the league's Player of the Year nominees. Now this is an opportunity for Cork City, but delivered in from Fitzpatrick all the way over and out beyond Mbeng.
Yeah, it was decent approach play from Cork City, working the ball down, breaking down the left-hand side. Maybe Fitzpatrick would have been better saved, just taking one or two touches there. You're struggling to get too many players into the box. Cork just keep hold of the ball 3, 4, 5 seconds, allow those players to advance towards the penalty box. Just a little bit too keen to get that ball into the box.
Here comes Doohan, he hasn't got all of it though. No, the man down in the 6-yard box. And Stephen Welsh, the play will be stopped.
Yeah, a bit of a mess with the Celtic goalkeeper there. No more than a hopeful ball from Bulger into the box. Shouldn't really have caused any problems.
It was young Matthew Murray that was in there.
Yeah.
Another who is being highly touted. He's had some trials over in England. Brighton and Hove Albion seem to be rather interested in his services. Turns 18 quite soon as well.
Yeah, it's a shame really. You're losing your best kind of talent, but that's just the reality of the situation. You play well in this league. It's a great opportunity to showcase your talents, and invariably the clubs come knocking on the door. Cal O'Sullivan we've spoken about already, kind of first half. A number of other players around the Airtricity League as well. Anthony Elding up at Sligo Rovers, attracting a lot of attention. There's a few of them around. Some real talent, always has been at this level.
Well, I guess it becomes the moment to make that move. You'll have decided at some point in your career when that right moment is. But I guess if more and more players are seeing opportunity and that chance to develop on home soil, then it's holding on to them for the clubs. Because eventually it's the same in Scotland.
Yeah,
they're going to go at some point if they're good enough.
Yeah, it's the reality of the situation. You're absolutely right. But of course the rules have changed somewhat over the past couple of years in terms of young players moving, certainly to England. They can't do it till they're 18 years of age now. So what you're seeing now, Rory, is players 15, 16 years of age, that outstanding talent, maybe hanging around for an extra year or two in the League of Ireland. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think I see 15, 16-year-olds historically going abroad and really kind of struggling mentally, kind of emotionally, finding it very hard to deal with, to step up, to change on a lot of different levels. I think going across as an 18, 19-year-old is a lot different, a lot more mature, in a better position to kind of handle that kind of change, that expectation. So in some respects, I don't think it's been a bad thing. And don't get me wrong, you got young players now heading to the continent. That doesn't stop you from going to the continent if you're under 18 years of age. A number of our players have done that, gaining experience, and you would hope becoming more rounded players, more rounded individuals because of that experience.
Here comes Murray again. Fitzpatrick helps it on, read by Welsh. Bulger goes in. And then Nelson battling away for it.
Yeah, both sets of players looking after each other, you sense, which is understandable. And players, of course, both sets of players want to win the game, particularly those Cork City players. Big day for a number of these young players playing in a stadium like this, in front of a crowd like this. They want to do well and show how good they are. The temptation is maybe just to lose control a little bit, throw yourself into a few tackles, but to be fair to the players, they haven't done that. By and large, they've stayed on their feet, they kind of respected each other, the occasion, what's at stake.
Well read by Kiernan. And Welsh rising highest. Robertson. Offside flag goes up.
Yeah, just got to time those runs a little bit better. I like the fact Celtic look to play these forward passes, going to break the lines with the pass, and sooner or later you sense they're going to get in.
Steadied by Lyons. Now Beng. Frenchman. Bulger. Beng. Lyons. Kiernan. Came to Murray.
Yeah, it's decent ball retention, I'd have to say it. Just keeping hold of the ball. Half a dozen, 8-10 passes, keeping the ball away from the opposition, getting a little bit of a breather. Nelson done really well in the early part of that move, receiving the ball in the half turn, kind of driving forward. Early substitution.
Yeah, it's going to be Brodie Lee to come on, young forward, and to replace Charlie Lutz. Striker putting in a decent showing. Young man coming in from Aston Villa. You know, it's vital as well. These young Celtic players will look to the likes of Callum McGregor and James Forrest as that pathway to the first team, but that's a long time ago since they came through. It seems to be an area that has stifled a little bit in recent years. I know now that the very best ones get picked off. They go down to England a lot sooner. But you know, is that an area that you think Celtic could improve things, is getting some of the academy players through and into the first team?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, that's the ambition of most clubs already, not necessarily Celtic. I think kind of club owners, managers understand the kind of bond that's there between club supporters and young talent in a football club that can come through and break into the first team. That's kind of pretty special. You can get a core group of those players who can kind of grow together and make that step up. It doesn't happen very often. It's actually quite unique to a large extent, but that's what you have to kind of strive for. I think you're looking to develop young talent regardless, Rory, don't get me wrong, but certainly young talent, born and bred in the city, breaking through. That's pretty special.
Oh, and it's turned wide. Best opportunity of the game, and it falls to Kit Nelson. Did take a touch on its way through.
Yeah, that's a really good break from Cork City. Plenty of space there. Nelson received the ball. Talk about the goal he scored at Sherborne last week. Well, that was with his left foot. This was on his right hand side. He didn't feel quite as comfortable. It's good to see Cork committing players forward. Didn't quite catch the shot. Small deflection.
Well, Doohan got a touch on that. Celtic able to scramble it clear. Looked a little untidy at the corner defensively.
Yeah, wasn't the most confident touches. You mentioned the touch. Saw him previously, the ball from Bulger into the box. Get himself into a little bit of a mess as well. New Celtic goalkeeper. There's a little bit of traffic there, but not too much. Just slightly misjudged the flight of the ball. Slightly nervy start from him. Second half.
Well worked by Celtic down the left-hand side. Again, Lyons reads the cut back. May open up here though. Oh, it just drifts underneath the foot. Opportunity was opening up for the strike. Wouldn't quite break the way of Osman. Again, Lyons sliding in.
Yeah, it was the right idea. Mitchell Robertson driving on the inside there, head up. Spoke about Summers in the first half. Playing those clever little passes. That's exactly what he was trying to do. Feed the ball into Osmond. He made a good little dart and run in behind. He made another good previously. Celtic broke down the left-hand side. He was looking for the ball to be fired across the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for him, it was cut back instead. The opportunity was lost. But his movement's been decent. Callum Osmond so far, I like the way he moves over the ground, the kind of a little bit of intelligence in terms of the runs that he's making. Just needs to be picked out. Mitchell Robertson almost done that a couple of minutes previously.
And there are a few of these young Celtic players who did see minutes last season. Francis Turley, Jude Bonner, Sean McCardle. Few opportunities.
Yeah, you really feel as if you've got to make every opportunity count. For one of those young kind of Celtic players, that's a huge amount of pressure. In one extent, you know, when you're given an opportunity 10-15 minutes, you know, you feel as if you have to rip it up. You have to do something exceptional, really, to kind of stay in this team, to push those first team players. Not easy. That's the challenge.
Chase on for Lee. Did well to hold it up, and that threaded ball through. Murray. Oh, what a finish that is! Brilliant finish it is from Murray. Matthew Murray, the 17-year-old who's the big hope for the future for Cork City, and he levels things up. Really smart finish.
Oh, absolutely delighted for young Matthew Murray, for this whole Cork team. This young group of Cork players, second half. They've done well. They've been positive, tried to get on the ball. Nelson in particular, he's been prominent. Again, it's that positive pass again, looking to play forward, don't get me wrong. It's a big mix-up, lack of communication. Doing again. Celtic defenders are Welsh. Don't really getting in each other's way, almost leave it to each other, thinking the other's going to deal with it. Murray's on the move, anticipating a chance. It's not an easy finish, it has to touch, it has to swivel, take a first time. It's a really good finish. The game on now.
1-1, things levelled up. There will be penalties should things remain the same. I should add. We're playing for Cork's Super Cup. It was designed by Cork GAA legend Ger McCarthy. There's Osmond. It's back to frame. Frame.
Yeah, he's the one who needs to get on the ball frame, kind of orchestrate things a little bit in the absence of McGregor. There he is, actually getting himself to the forward area of the pitch. Predominantly he's been the one just sitting a little bit deeper in that central midfield position, looking to punch those balls forward with that kind of cultured left foot. Just need to get Celtic back in the game, now get Celtic back on the ball, start dominating it again, because these Cork players now are playing with a bit of confidence, a bit of self-belief after that equalising goal.
Osmond now, Robertson on the right foot, deflected. Good work to knock it clear from Matthew Kiernan.
Yeah, it was good defending, good link-up play again between Osmond and Mitchell Robertson in a central position. They kind of linked up well. They'd be looking for each other, just kind of work a few little 1-2s, lending the pass, the ball to each other the opening period this second half. Really good defending in the end from Kiernan to stop it.
Flicked over the top, Stephen Welsh coming forward, towering above everyone else, but couldn't direct it downwards.
Great timing in the run though, just driving towards that near post. Almost done everything right, just needs to kind of guide that back across goal towards the back post there. Even if you don't score, maybe give somebody a tap in. Probably just got caught too much of it.
Robertson. Good progress shown by him. Robertson, Osmond might get the shot away. He's closed down in the end in the act of shooting.
Greedy boy. Had an opportunity to set one or two of his teammates up at the edge of the box. Osmond didn't take it. Wanted to get the shot on target. It was a great block in the end, but didn't think he took the right option there. Hard to tell a natural number 9 in that situation. 10-15 yards out, central area. Don't take his shot. He wasn't going to present that opportunity to one of his teammates there. Can't be too overly critical. Good play though to start to that. Mitchell Robertson again down this right hand side. Really good dribbling ability, chopping the ball back onto his right hand side, driving to the edge of the 18-yard box. He's been impressive in the opening period of the second half. Most of the players taking the opportunity to get some fluids on board. It's understandable in this Mediterranean heat. we're soaking up this afternoon. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple of those Cork City players are getting a bit of the factor 50 on as well on the touchline.
We've just lost our shade as well.
That's not good for me.
Samuel Izaguzo is coming on along with Ben McPherson. Stephen Welsh heads off, so Ben McPherson will go into the back line.
Yeah, I hope Welch is all right. He's got a kind of makeshift sling there, or as he walks down the tunnel. Hope there's not an issue there, potentially with his shoulder or anything like that.
Kyle Ure coming short. Lions. Fitzpatrick robbed. Frame. Montgomery. Osmond. Fitzpatrick has it back. Person for his first involvement. And again, as it goes out. Frame. Excellent pass. Out wide. Come out to the midfielder, gets a touch from Izigozu.
Yeah, I think it was Frame who had the last shot there at the edge of the box. He would have fancied that on his left-hand side. Just kind of stuffed it into the ground, scuffed it into the ground a little bit. He was a bit disappointed with himself.
Celtic go quickly. This Frame that helps that on. Will it settle for the shots? Oh, it did, but some last-ditch defending from Cork City. Now Osmond over the top from the new front man.
He desperately wants that goal. There's no doubt about it, but he's getting in the right areas. To give him credit. Desperate defending here from Cork City. Good defending actually. Lines in particular, throwing his body in front of the ball there. That's what you need. Ball drops that Osmond here. A couple of quick touches, just opens his body up. Maybe would have expected a little bit more. Maybe even that one drive it back through the legs of the defender towards the near post. He's getting to some good areas, Osmond, already in the second half. Certainly a live wire in that central striking position.
Robertson's touch. Robertson looking to run onto it, but not quite. Challenge there. Again, referees. Haven't been too many free kicks in this game, but
yeah, spoke about players looking after each other. Rory, not anymore. I think it was Montgomery there, just left a little bit. And Anderson, I think it was. It's a little bit out of keeping with the game. Could easily kept his foot down there, didn't. Would have stung a little bit.
We talked about it a little bit in the first half and how this stadium, it seemed to be a little bit more in the past that the GAA might try and keep these for the GAA sports, but there seems to be a bit of a movement towards more soccer games. We've seen some rugby games here. Munster have played against South Africa. The Crusaders have come over as well. We've had a women's international here. Do you think that is something that's opening up a little bit? I mean, Croke Park gets used now for a number of different sports.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift. Haven't got a ticket for Oasis in a couple of weeks, have you? Keep your mind.
Gold dust, are they?
Yeah, I've no contacts these days. Useless. No, but you're absolutely right in terms it's the modern world, isn't it? Years previously, each individual sport in Ireland had their kind of their home as such, but times are changing. And I think you're absolutely right. Who's to say in maybe 5-10 years time we won't see senior Irish international game at this stadium. I certainly wouldn't be averse to it. I think it's a fine stadium, and like I said, the support down here that the Cork public give, it's absolutely phenomenal. The Irish ladies have experienced that. Munster rugby, as you've mentioned already, Rory, so yeah, why not?
Fitzpatrick coming in on his right foot, smashing that towards Ross Stewart, who's of course back at Celtic. Departed a few years ago, headed down south before playing at Aberdeen last season. Of course, a Scottish Cup winner. And that dramatic penalty shootout at Hampden Park in the final game of last season that saw the treble disappear from Celtic's grasp. And you know, that seems to be the standard that Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou before him and Neil Lennon have set. That bar is so high that it's almost anything other than a treble plus progress in Europe seems to almost be a season of disappointment.
Yeah, high bar indeed. But for me, the significance of last season, for me in terms of giving up the Scottish, of course it would have been a huge disappointment to Celtic fans. But over the context of the season, I think how this Celtic team played in Europe, the kind of quality and the maturity which they showed in the Champions League was something which, like I've said previously, Rory, I haven't seen from Brendan Rodgers' team in Europe. I thought they were absolutely phenomenal. Really enjoyed them watching their performances. Now, they didn't win every game, I understand that. Some people might argue maybe the draw was fortunate to a certain respect. Those home games maybe against Bratislava initially and potentially Young Boys, but there was some hard games in there as well. Leipzig at home, I'm thinking about. Brugge as well, were no fools, and they kind of dealt with them. The way draw to Zagreb and obviously 0-0 draw at Atlanta. So I thought they kind of evolved a little bit in Europe last season. Celtic, they kind of modified their approach a little bit when they had to. I think that's where they struggled previously, potentially under Brendan Rodgers, his philosophy, his kind of style of play. I think they suffered a little bit, Rory, previously under Brendan, but last season I thought they mixed it up really well. I think they kind of modified their approach when they had to. That Atlanta game in particular was the obvious example of that, and they really kind of grew in confidence and stature as the tournament went on, and that's how you judge yourself really in elite competition. That's what the Champions League is. It is the elite competition in club football, and Celtic done fantastically well, and that's the bar for me going forward in terms of how do they emulate that, improve upon it. It's not going to be easy, but that's the challenge facing Brendan Rodgers going forward.
Do you think that that's where there's maybe been a slight shift in the expectations of supporters? They've had so much domestic success. When you list, it's a lot easier to list the trophies that they haven't won in the last 12, 14 years than the ones they have. So do you think their attention, that focus, once 10 in a row went by the wayside, their focus really then started to become on development and growth in Europe?
Yeah, maybe so, and I think that's understandable. I think Celtic supporters are like, they're smart, they understand their football, they kind of understand the dominance which they have in the kind of domestic league. They don't take it for granted. It's not expected, but it's what they want, it's what they demand. I understand that, but they also realise the kind of step up in Champions League football. And I think, like most supporters, I think how the Champions League has changed, particularly last season in terms of the qualifying stage, what UEFA have done. I think it's been a huge success, and I think it's given the likes of Celtic and clubs of their ilk a real kind of opportunity and an incentive to kind of progress, which maybe wasn't there previously under the old format, Rory. Kind of, groups of four, top two qualified, made it very difficult for Celtic and clubs of that stature to kind of progress from the group stage. It's not anymore with the kind of nature of the competition now, and Celtic have really kind of responded to that. And like I said, some of the performance last season were of a standard that I think, would they surprise the majority of Celtic supporters? Maybe surprise might be too strong of the word, but they would have been absolutely delighted with what they saw from Celtic in Europe last season. And yeah, they want more. I'm sure they're hungry for more. In that game against Bayern Munich, the second leg in particular in the Allianz was absolutely phenomenal. There was a stage of that second half against Bayern Munich, Rory, I was looking at this Celtic team and thinking, they're going to win this. Forget about hanging on kind of 1-0 up. They're going to go and get a second. That's how they were playing. That's the confidence they were playing at. That's the kind of mindset that they took to Bayern in that kind of second leg, one of the powerhouses of European football. Now, ultimately, they drew that game, the late goal by Alphonso Davies, but I think Celtic supporters would have taken note of that performance in particular and said, well, look, if we can do that, why can't we do it again? So let's back the manager in terms of investment in players and players who he wants to get into the football club, and let's continue to grow, evolve, and actually challenge at this level and maintain a challenge at this level going forward. Because as excited as I was by those Celtic supporters, and I'm not a die-hard Celtic fan, I'll tell you now, the vast majority of Celtic supporters who kind of make their way to Celtic Park are more heavily invested in the football club than I am. So they must have been hugely impressed and excited about what their team produced last season.
Well, down in the box, and there were certainly plenty amongst the 30,000 who felt that it should have been a penalty kick there.
I'm not too sure myself. It's good play from Cork City down this right hand side. It's a nice little touch which takes him kind of wrong side. There is a little bit of contact there, probably not enough for me, Rory, to be honest with you. The contact is felt and he's entitled to go down there, but not sufficient contact for me. But again, more encouragement for Cork City.
Kieran sending that forward. It's Patrick and Bolger battling away now. And Bang, who's come into the middle of the pitch, and that one coming straight off the referee. So a chance to remind you of the live rugby that we have coming up on Premier Sports in the coming weeks. We have Scotland in action from the South Pacific Islands as they take on Fiji in the early hours of Saturday morning. That's one for the early risers. And then on Friday the 18th of July they take on Samoa at 9 in the morning. Both those games available on Premier Sports 2. Good read by Bolger. Helped on by Murray. Nelson now. Bang might look to open up for the strike, but well over the top.
Oh, we've got a game on here. We already really do. This Cork City team growing in confidence. Greg Bolger, all his experience there, anticipating where the pass is going to be played on the inside. Then they break forward quickly from there. Nelson in possession, playing that number 10 position now. Again, picking the right option, playing in Mbeng. It was a good run from Lee in behind. Chose not to take an extra touch and take the shot on, but it's really good play from Cork City. Jaron has to be really pleased. How his players have played in this kind of second half. Nice shape to the team. Lee off that right hand side, Fitzpatrick the left. Mbeng, on a custom role for him in central midfield alongside Bolger. Plenty of experience there, and that pairing of Murray now and Nelson in behind, causing a few problems. Actually beginning to enjoy themselves, the Cork City players, really in this game now.
Robertson for the curler. Where it goes.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick doing his defensive duties there. That's the Cork left midfielder there, tracking the run from Robertson into the box. Anticipated what he was going to do, checking onto his left hand side. Got himself into a good defensive position, made the block.
Corner. Late on, and the opportunity to retake the lead is taken. Two free headers in the 6-yard box. Celtic regain their lead.
Come out of nowhere. It really has, this goal. Celtic, I wouldn't say they've been on the rack for the past kind of 10-15 minutes, but certainly Cork City have grown in confidence. It was a really well worked free kick from Celtic. Isolate the man at the back post. It's a really clever header back across the 6-yard box. Doesn't look to score there, it's almost impossible. Head the ball back across the 6-yard box. Just a tap in at that back post area. Cork will be sick. Have really come into this game. You could argue look more likely to get that kind of second goal but a really well executed free kick from Celtic got them back in front.
Murray. Nelson. I think I've got Ben McPherson as the goal scorer. I must say for our viewers, we've got precious little information that has come our way.
Got the sun in her eyes. Let's make another excuse up, Rory. Sun in her eyes. I give him a bit of credit, McPherson, but was him at the back post out, Rory. He wasn't stood still. That ball went to the back post. He was on the move. He was anticipating that ball being headed back across the box. He got his reward.
He is knocking it back to his goalkeeper.
No relation to Big Dave McPherson from the dim and distant past. Rory, no, I'll leave that one with you.
I suspect not. He represented the other side of Glasgow, of course. In Heart of Midlothian in Scotland.
Do I need to take that back?
No.
It's a strong Scottish name, McPherson. That's what I will say.
The update, I'm afraid, has come from the Celtic Twitter account that Colby Donovan scored the goal.
Colby Donovan. He's the last one we were thinking of.
Well,
Or he was the last one, wasn't he?
As I said, not a lot of numbers have been delivered up to us. It does make things rather difficult.
Nobody's feeling sorry for us, Rory, I'll tell you that now. We'll be up before the producers tomorrow. We'll have to explain ourselves. Poor preparation, unprofessional. I'm well used to that, don't worry about it. Let's look after each other, don't drop each other in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Team game.
Pings all out wide. And that does bring an end to that late showing from Celtic that managed to recapture the lead and win the game, and all handshakes round between the players, the coaching staff. It has been a real celebration of the two clubs. Brendan Rodgers and Ger Nash embracing on the final whistle. There will be another piece of silverware coming Celtic's way to kick off the new season. The Box Super Cup coming the way of that Colby Donovan winning goal, the header, after it was Luke McCowan that got things started in the first half, and then we've got two very different 11s for that second half. To Cork City coming right back into it, thanks to Matthew Murray, the 17-year-old who took his goal very well indeed. Brings up the final score of Celtic 2, Cork City 1. Well, the supporters were urged not to come onto the pitch, but you know,
you can't tell Cork City people what to do in their own town, Rory, I'll tell you that. That was the first mistake the announcer made.
Well, put the idea in their heads, did it? But I think all in
Tell them
all,
not to do something, they do it. It's as simple as that. There's no problem with this. There's a lot of kids there. coming onto the pitch. It's not overly excessive. I think they're being quite respectful of the players, coming up looking for a few autographs. I've no problem with this whatsoever, Rory, I have to say.
Well, you know, I think all in all, the fixture has been a great success, a real celebration of the two clubs, and Celtic being on the island of Ireland.
No, you're absolutely right. Great atmosphere around the stadium, even walking through Cork on the way up here to the stadium. Both sets of fans having drinks, join each other's company. And that's the way it's continued. We had a competitive game of football. Give credit to Ger Nash and his players, particularly second half. They made a real kind of game of it, got themselves back into it. Looked at one stage they could go on and win it before Celtic eventually got that winning goal. But nice scenes actually here on the pitch after the game. Sometimes you see a lot of people come onto the pitch, and I don't like it, to be honest with you, but not on this occasion. A lot of kids out there enjoying the occasion. It's pretty unique, like you've suggested, Rory, Celtic being on the island. I think you have to celebrate, and that's what these people are doing.
Well, here's the best of the action, and this was Celtic going in front. Rightly pick out Engels for that touch back to Luke McCowan, who rifles it into the top corner.
Such a sweet strike off that left foot. So cultured. Touch there from Engels, wasn't it? It's a wonderful vision. That was a great goal. From a technical point of view, I've no real experience of this, Rory. I've got to be honest with you, in my footballing career, striking a ball like this, but it must feel pretty good. What about yourself? Ever hit one like that? No. Left, right foot.
It's so well hit, you almost don't feel it.
Exactly.
I've never done it.
Oh, you do? You've done it then. You've done it then, clearly. That's what you're saying. Fair play. I'm pleased for you.
Well, here's the equaliser, and really well taken by Matthew Murray.
What a moment for him. 17 years of age, Celtic Football Club. Doing that. It's not an easy finish, like I said. Doesn't let the first touch get away from him. Has a clear vision in his head what he wants to do. Swivels, doesn't even look at the goal, knows where the goal is. It's a really good finish from the young striker. Delighted for him. What a moment.
Well, there were claims for a penalty with the game at 1-1, but waved away by our referee.
Yeah, stuck that right leg in. Certainly took a chance, the defender. He's right to appeal. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to lean towards the referee here. Just suggests there's not quite enough contact, but you can see the right leg come out from the Celtic defender. That could well have been given, but I wouldn't have given it.
Here the winning goal, Colby Donovan, 2 free headers. From a defensive point of view, managers hate it. From an attacking point of view, they point to all the work that's done on the training ground.
It's the hardest thing to do as a defender. If you're defending that 6-yard box, right, that ball goes over your head to the back post. Your eyes follow the ball. The hardest thing to do is to take your eyes off the ball and where it's going, and have a look at who's around you, who's in that back post area, who's going to get the next touch. And it's Donovan. He's on the move. That's a really clever header. Can't really score from there.
Well, just looking down amongst the crowds, the likes of James Forrest and Callum McGregor, I think it could be about half an hour while they get selfies with everyone in Cork.
I'm sure they won't mind. I think it's pre-season. I think it's expected, certainly from this football club and this part of Ireland. I think they'll kind of know their responsibilities, and I think it's something which I don't think it's. I think it's something they'll want to do. I think you enjoy this kind of occasion. You can see in the faces of the supporters on the pitch how much it means. You mentioned Forrest there and Callum McGregor. They'll understand what a day like this means to the Cork City football and public, and I'm sure they'll make themselves available, as they should. I think the amount of Celtic supporters, not just from Cork, all over Ireland, who travel over in their hundreds, thousands. I know a few of them, Rory, every kind of weekend, every second weekend to support Celtic. You know, they love the football club, they love these players. That's never going to change. So I think it's important occasions like this that the kind of Celtic players, Celtic Football Club kind of reciprocate that. They kind of meet them halfway, and that's what we're seeing on the football pitch at the moment. Kind of Celtic football players giving back this to the supporters. It's good to see.
Well, look, we touched on it during the game. These Cork City supporters haven't had much to celebrate this season. 2 wins all campaign in 23 games. They've got an almighty battle coming up. Their next 2 games against Waterford.
Friday night.
Is it Sligo's the second one? Yeah, Sligo Rovers and Waterford. Their next 2 league games. They've got a cup game against Leicester Celtic in between, but these next 2 league games might just shape their chances.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's fair, particularly with the second one being Sligo. They're the team, of course, who are 5 points above them. The rest of them are really in the distance. They're not going to catch them. It's really a fight out between Sligo and Cork. So you're absolutely right. I think getting a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum going into that Sligo game would be important. So a point of not a win, not an easy thing against Waterford. But that's what they have to strive for. I think this will help. I spoke about them taking something from the game today, a little bit of confidence, a bit of forward momentum. Rory, I think they got that in the second half. The amount of changes that they made, I thought they acquitted themselves really well. You know, the game didn't get away from them second half. Celtic didn't kind of dominate, get the second and third goal, you know, and put real distance between them. They got back into the game, they got that equalising goal, and they're actually pushing for the winning goal. So I'm sure they're the positives. Jerry Nash, David Moyler will be stressing to the players. Let's take that into the game against Waterford Saturday night, get a result, and then there's that kind of make or break against Sligo coming after that. Things can change very quickly in football. 1 week in football is a long time. So that's the kind of the points I'm sure Jerry Nash will be stressing to his players this evening and over the coming game days.
Celtic's big kick-off comes on the 3rd of August against St Mirren. Between now and then, they head to Portugal. Estrela de Amadora first, then Sporting. A week tomorrow before they host Newcastle. And then it's off to the Como Cup to play Ajax. And then either the hosts Como or Al Ahly.
They thought it was hot over here, heading straight to the Algarve. Best of luck with that one. I think there's a lot of advantages coming over there. I have to say, I came over here a couple of times as a player. Look, no travel, an hour and a half over. The food's good. You know, they tell me the drink is good, Rory. You might know better than me. I'm not too sure about that. But you always kind of get a great reception. You're treated very well. You get a good competitive game of football. You know, the temperature, we're talking about it being hot here today, 22, 23 degrees. We got that nice cool breeze as well. There won't be too many of those Celtic players need to dive into a nice bath after this game today. It takes a lot of boxes coming over here to Ireland. Portugal's a slightly different matter, higher temperatures. That might be a little bit more difficult for the players, but it's all about peaking. I don't think you never peak for first game of the season, Roddy. I never felt that case. Usually takes you 4 to 6 weeks into the season to really hit a level where you feel as if, yeah, right on the game. But they're on their way now, Celtic, and they will have benefited from the competitive nature of this game today.
Celtic will need to peak for that Champions League playoff game. So Celtic will receive the trophy from the Lord Mayor of Cork, Fergal Dennehy, but that will be the first trophy of the season for them as they look to add more and more throughout the season. But full time here at Páirc and Celtic's second pre-season game of the season, and a victory at full time. It finishes Celtic 2, Cork City 1. Thanks for watching.